My name is Moxxy Rogers, and welcome to my poetry reading on the porch. Today I am really excited because I've been accepted. Some of my poems have been accepted for submission through Nailed magazine, and it's been a really crazy year, and I was accepted earlier in the year, and I didn't do anything with these poems since then because good old Corona kind of made it hard to create. And so I thought, hey, I should finally get around to recording these poems, and I'll just do it I'm hoping in the most organic and natural way, which means I am recording outside on my front porch. And I thought we could read some poetry together, and I could read to you the poems that were accepted into the magazine. And so I'm really excited to share these with you because I wrote many of these poems, if not all of them, in college. And they are written from a place of a lot of pain and a lot of heartache, and so it's really awesome to be able to experience sharing that heartache with you. And I hope that you feel as touched by the words as I do when they come to me, if that makes any sense. And so this first poem is called Abuse and Other Silly Things. Terrified is how you make me. A plethora of pretty words, you string them together and watch as you dangle them, so violent in the way you so callous dare to say what you do not feel, though you know it stings. In that way, I still understand you. Just as it burns, you are like my father, though I do not know him. I cannot walk away from a natural disaster, nor run, nor hide, nor fight. Tornado, or hurricane, or blizzard, or you. In that way, I still hate you. Suddenly now, when the waves are crashing in my throat, I do not stand a chance, do I, baby? The tides have pulled against me every time. We fucked in August and I left in September. I forgot how to swim, and remember my father was the first man to teach me I do not deserve to be saved. How do you look like a man you've never met? I do not drown tonight or tomorrow or the next day or... You showed me best that it means nothing and everything to be alone. Your own words plague you still want me, don't you? Don't you remember what we did? Did we ever? In that way, I still love you. And this next one is called Origami Feelings. In my dreams, he grips the edges of my existence and folds me over myself until I am in the shape of something he could possibly love. In my nightmares, he never stops folding. And this next one I wrote in response to the news of Kobe Bryant passing, and it's kind of about my distant relationship with death. So thank you. A man in the elevator of my building asked me if I heard the news about Mr. Bryant, and I've been thinking about death ever since. I'd sooner gnaw my tongue in half than gut my own mother. Flesh so fickle and my hair ever thinning, a woman with exposed gums once told me I have my father's eyes. I often wonder if she thought I looked angry or maybe just insatiably lonely. I had eyelashes for breakfast on the Sunday of my mother's father's death. Did you know that funerals taste like sidewalk chalk? If you mumble in circles long enough, all your teeth fall out and your mouth fills with pennies, and everyone will stare at you and you'll be so embarrassed. I'm better off stuffing grass where my eyes used to be. When daughters cry in open spaces and our ache embalms against the pavement, who picks up our teeth when they trickle down the sewage pipes? I'll drink loose screws until I'm full and beautiful and temporary, and I'll think about that later. Alright, and this next one is called What Did You Do This Weekend? Friday, 9:25 p.m. Swayed to a distant beat at a birthday party for a guy I didn't really consider a friend. Ordered a raspberry mule even though I made a New Year's resolution to only drink alcohol I didn't buy. Forgot I hate raspberries because they taste like cough syrup, taste like doctor's office visits, taste like when my mom put me first. Stayed another hour until my racing ribcage chased me into the streets. Caught the first train home without saying goodbye to anyone. Nobody noticed. Friday, 10:13 p.m. Realized I never paid for my fare for the first time since I got caught not paying for the fare last January, but also fuck authority. Read on the train until my neck hurt from the angle. 7th time trying to get through this Sylvia Plath novel since I picked it up in June. Had a phone call later that night in the bathroom with my father about my mother, and he sounded angry and I tried not to bite my tongue. Saturday, 11:05 a.m. During the week, I bought a new laptop off of a stranger because I think it will help me create projects, because I always need to be creating, because I don't know who I am if I don't, because that's what it means to be an artist, right? Spent a total of 15 hours playing Sims instead. Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Woke up to my lover's alarm. Asked him to drive me to the train. He was the kind of sleepy, boyish cute I like to kiss into the daybreak. Sunday, 7:45 a.m. Man at the station began a conversation with me while I held my breath and tried to make myself smaller. He looked at my body up and down the entire time, pretending to care about my words. I panicked and started lying about the details, told him my name was Roman, like the numerals. That's what I always say. And I'm from Idaho, but I'm homeschooled, so I'm here on vacation, taking the train to church. He said he liked my friendliness and asked how old I was. I fucking knew he was gonna ask how old I was. They always ask how old I am. I lied, said 16, holding my breath in my sleeve, and he smiled, said, "Oh, you're underaged." I said yes, felt angry, felt dirty without being touched. Counted the tracks until the train arrived, considered walking away and missing it altogether because I hate carrying conversations with old nasty men I don't care about. Why should my back have to be this heavy? Chanted into my jaw, "Please don't look at me, please don't look at me, please don't look at me if you're not going to bother to see me." He walked away when the train arrived, still looking at my body, still looking at my body. Still looking at what I just told him was a child's body. Sat in the back without paying the fare again because nothing about authority has changed. Let my breath free, wondering if he'd look at my body the same way if he knew how I used to starve it and carve it and carry it through funerals. Innocence dies the same way people do. Sunday, 9:45 a.m. Did childcare at church and forgot about the anger and remembered it again. Listened to a 4-year-old explain why God is love, and I believed her. Sunday, 4:55 p.m. Did my taxes for the first time and probably did them wrong because I owe money, but I don't have money because I've been spending it all on train fares, so fuck. Sunday, 11:47 p.m. Listened to a podcast by Tracy K. Smith. Wished I could curl into her voice and live there for a while. And this next poem I wrote in response to the George Floyd murder that happened earlier in the pandemic. And I had a really hard time with writing about that event. I actually have another poem that I would love to share, but it's not part of what was accepted into this publication. I might share it anyway. Oh, sorry, there goes the sun. So now you just got me. I might share it with you anyway at the end, just because I think it'd be kind of cathartic. But this one in particular is a sonnet that I wrote, and I had never written a sonnet before. And it was actually an assignment that I had in my poetry class when I was still in college. I just graduated in the spring with my degree in poetry, my minor in film studies, and so I'd never written a sonnet before, and so this is my first go at a sonnet, and this has literally no edits. I just wrote it just the first time trying to mess with a sonnet and trying to take the pain of what I felt with the George Floyd incident and put it into writing. So this is I Can't Breathe, a sonnet. Oh, and it's also about the pandemic a little bit. There you go. It's a double entendre. So I Can't Breathe, a sonnet. I fear the worst has yet to come. I am trapped between these four walls, stuck inside a beating drum where the people cry and the nation falls. The days turn red to match the streets. Brown is the skin that bleeds of blue, massacres covered in white sheets, while the virus waits for her cue. But there is a curse that haunts this land, a furious body shaped like mine, raging of a kneel, yearning for a stand. A life that matters is more than a sign. Two killers among us who you cannot always see. Where your last words ring, I cannot breathe. Thank you. That concludes all the poems that were accepted into this publication. And so I just want to give a big thank you to Sam, who I've been messaging with in the publishing area. It's taken me a very long time to finally get this video of poems out to people, just because this has been a really crazy year. And so again, I'm so honored, and I appreciate the opportunity to have my voice heard and to have my words out there on such a notable platform, you know. So the other poem that I wanted to share doesn't really have a title yet, and it hasn't been accepted anywhere, and you are the first to hear. And Nailed did not ask for me to read this at all, and so you guys get a little bonus poem, and I guess it'll be up to them if they want to keep it or not. But I thought I'd use this opportunity to share this next poem I'm going to read. Also has no edits whatsoever, and I wrote it in response to the George Floyd again, but I wrote it before the sonnet, and it was the very first thing I sat down and wrote, and so it's very raw, and I've only read it live one other time, and that was my first time hearing it out loud, and so this is just my second time letting a bigger audience hear this poem. And so I hope you enjoy, and I once again truly appreciate the opportunity to share my words with you. This will be my last poem, and then I'll let you go, I'll let you be free. You don't have to be prisoner to these words anymore. Okay. Tentative title, I demand the right to see another sunrise. I demand the right to see another sunrise. I can't breathe, 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 I can't. I write it until it doesn't make sense anymore. I write it until it looks like something out of a horror movie. I write it until I realize it's never made sense. The day begins with my face pressed into my hands. My hands, these brown hands, have been shaking for several mornings. They quake into the evening, they tremble so terribly sometimes I fear they will fall off. These hands are my only weapons. I use them to write. I shove my face harder into my hands, try to cut off my circulation, try to imagine what it feels like to not be able to breathe. I count the seconds waiting to pass out, waiting for the moment I just can't take it anymore. It is painful, a searing type of burn that lingers in the lungs and inflates inside your chest. It is terrible to not be able to breathe, and still I try to see how long I could last with my breath suspended in my own hands. And it is barely a minute. And then my hands, out of sheer instinct, out of a necessity to see another day, release me from myself, and I am breathing again. How lucky I am to be able to hold my life in my own hands. I take in a gust of air, fill my lungs, let the oxygen clear my brain, and then I do it again. I do it over and over again to test how long I can handle it. George Floyd was suffocating for 9 minutes with his head crushed to the ground, a knee in his neck, blood pouring from his nose, and his mama's name dancing on his last breath. George Floyd was suffocating for 9 minutes with his head crushed to the ground, a knee in his neck, blood pouring from his nose. George Floyd was suffocating for 9 minutes with his head crushed to the ground, a knee in his neck. George Floyd was suffocating for 9 minutes with his head crushed to the ground and a knee in his neck, a knee in his neck, a knee in his neck, a knee in his neck. George Floyd was suffocating for 9 minutes. George Floyd was suffocating. I bury my face into the pillow and I try again. I must know what that type of pain is like. I carry myself throughout the day in George Floyd's last breath, and something audibly snaps in my chest. It sounds like a gunshot going off in my rib cage, but I hold it there. I let it hurt. I let it take my breath away. I let it follow through my whole body. It is in the morning that I try to find the words to describe what it is like to be black in America. I sit, petrified and paralyzed in front of the TV and feel a knee in my neck. There is a bullet in my gut before the words have the chance to catch me. The blood in my mouth tells me to put it on paper. I must write about this anguish. But the words don't come. George Floyd was suffocating. The blood in the streets is mine. It is yours. It is ours. I watch that video again and hold my breath during its duration. My breath does not hold, not for as long as George Floyd's was forced to, but for it left completely. I watch that video again and pound my head against the kitchen tile and wait for the blood to pool in the cracks. A headache starts before the tears, but it doesn't compare to cracking my skull against concrete. I watch that video again and dig my fingernails into my neck, pinch the cords that hold my head upright, dig, 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 until it pulls a scream out of me. But I don't hear it. I watch that video again and shove a fist into my stomach until it makes sense. But it never makes sense. A knot forms in my throat. There are some mornings where I pray that it kills me. I can't breathe, 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 I can't breathe. George Floyd was suffocating for 9 minutes. And I have the audacity to demand the right to see another sunrise. And that's that. So again, a big thank you to everyone at Nailed, and a big thank you for everyone watching this, taking the time out of your quarantine pandemic life, which I have no idea what that looks like. On your personal level, I know for me it's been crazy. So that you would take the time to listen to poetry means a lot. So there's a lot of cars driving by, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. And again, a big thank you to everyone watching, everyone listening, and everyone who gave me a chance to be published, and everyone who was so patient waiting for this this audio video recording. So again, thank you, and I think I'm gonna go drink some tea. I think I need to unwind, and I think you should too. All right, well, bye. Thank you.